For much more, Stephen A. Smith joins us now live from Los Angeles. Stephen A., you just heard the news that Adebayo is out. Dragic is still hoping to play. What kind of dire straits are the Heat in this series with Game 2 just hours away?
Well, they're in dire straits simply because even if all of those guys were healthy, they'd still be in dire straits. The reality of the situation is that they are the inferior team. They don't have an answer for LeBron James or an Anthony Davis, let alone the combination of both. If Goran Dragic ends up not playing, even though I do think that'll be a loss because he's been playing exceptionally well, Kendrick Nunn can ball. He can put the ball in the hole, and they certainly need all the offense that they can get. Kelly Olynyk is no replacement for Bam Adebayo, particularly against these Lakers. So obviously Adebayo is a huge, huge loss. But in the end, what it comes down to is this. There's no matchup for Anthony Davis. There's no matchup for LeBron James. And because you're the Miami Heat and you damn well know there's no matchup for either player, let alone the combination of the two, your only hope is to key on them and to dare anybody else for the Lakers to beat you, which means that it comes down to Lakers reserves and other, secondary players being able to hit perimeter shots. If they miss them, the series could be interesting. If they make them, the series is over Tuesday night.
So you're calling a sweep if this is the way this plays out?
If the Lakers hit shots the way that they did, if they hit perimeter shots the way that they did in Game 1, there is absolutely positively nothing that the Miami Heat can do. They will be swept.
It is scary, too. You're seeing the best of Anthony Davis, and we have yet to see the best of LeBron James. He doesn't have to be when you have AD there, 1A and 1B. Now, one of the big stories this week in the league is Doc Rivers, hired by the Sixers yesterday after 3 days after just parting ways with the Clippers. What did you learn about Rivers landing in Philly here?
Well, first of all, if Doc Rivers had gotten fired a day later, Mike D'Antoni would be the head coach of the Philadelphia 76ers because they were prepared to offer him the job. But the second Doc Rivers became available, the Sixers were wise enough to go right after him because when you have a Joel Embiid and a Ben Simmons, Mike D'Antoni's not going to help their cause. Neither of them are really three-point shooters. In the case of Joel Embiid, he can hit some, but he shouldn't be doing it. He should have his big backside down in the post area, reminding dudes that he's a man and they're boys compared to him. In the case of Ben Simmons, this guy's allergic to attempting jump shots, let alone making them. That's the problem. Basketball IQ, passing ability, defensive prowess, all-around skills off the charts. He has one impediment to his game, shooting the basketball from the perimeter. Doesn't even want to attempt to. And if you're playing for Mike D'Antoni, he wants you shooting threes or he wants you sitting on the bench next to him. That's how he rolls. So that wasn't going to work for Philadelphia. In the case of Doc Rivers, it does work because Doc Rivers has coached big men before. He's coached all-around players before. Mm-hmm. And obviously he's got a lot to prove himself because losing in the fashion that he did with the Los Angeles Clippers, which ultimately led to his dismissal, he's anxious to sit up there, inherit a young team with loads of potential. He wanted that job more than the Houston job, obviously, because the Rockets were very interested in him, but he chose Philly for a reason. Embiid and Simmons and a guy by the name of Tobias Harris, who played well under Doc Rivers when Tobias Harris was the Los Angeles Clippers. So all of these things fell in line. The Sixers made the right decision, and now you go on from there.
Yeah, Tobias had his best numbers with the Clippers before he was traded to the Sixers a couple years ago. It's a 5-year deal here for Doc, so there's patience on one side for Doc. Is there patience for this Simmons and Embiid thing to work? Is this a 1-year, 2-year thing with Rivers?
I'd give it 1 year. I think that with Doc Rivers there, he comes onto the scene. Obviously, he'll have significant say in what their future holds, and they've got to show up and produce. They've got to show that they're coachable, which I believe they are and already have shown. But more importantly, you've got to get Embiid down in the low post and being a big man like he is capable of being. And you've got to make sure that Ben Simmons recognizes he is a threat from the perimeter. He needs to attempt jump shots. If Ben Simmons, I'm going to put it to you this way, Kevin, it's very simple. If Ben Simmons ever develops any kind of jump shot whatsoever, he is LeBron James 2.0 or part 2, whatever way you want to put it. He's the second coming. He is that lethal. If you look at his all-around skill set, along with his size being 6'9", 6'10", with his ball handling and passing ability and basketball IQ and defensive prowess, if Ben Simmons develops a jump shot, he will be the second coming of LeBron James. If he does not, he'll be Ben Simmons. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.